In this tutorial, we're going to carry on with our univariate categorical analysis by creating pie charts. In the previous video, we created these two frequency tables that allow us to see not only the frequency distribution of each variable, but also its percent distribution, which shows us the proportion that each category makes up of the whole data set. So the first visualization that we're going to create is a pie chart, okay? And we're going to do this by using the values in our frequency table. So the reason the frequency table lecture came first is because we need these summary frequency counts in order to create the next two visualizations. So if you haven't done these frequency tables yet, go back and make sure that you create them first so that you have the basis for your pie chart and your bar chart. Okay, so to create the pie chart, what we're going to do is we're just going to highlight these interior labels and frequency tables from our table. We don't want to highlight the column headers up here, and we don't want to highlight the total row down here. We only want the categories and their frequencies. That's it. Now, after we've selected that by just using our mouse to click and drag, we're going to go to our insert ribbon where we've seen some of the histogram and box plot charts before. Okay. And after we've selected that data, just again, the labels and the frequency counts, we'll go to the chart panel on the insert ribbon and select this pie chart icon. We're just going to select these 2D icons, the first ones you see, because they do the best job at actually displaying the data. So I'm going to put this pie chart right below the table here, and then we'll start cleaning it up. Okay, so cool thing about these charts is you have some quick formatting tools over here that you can take advantage of. If you don't want to use these quick formatting tools on the side, you also have all the tools here that you can use. I recommend just using this chart elements and then customizing the chart in ways that I'll show you through this video. I like using these quick tools because they're just right here, they're easy to use, and I get exactly what I want. So first thing, I'm going to click in the chart. I know that I have the chart selected when I get those resizing bubbles around it. And I'm going to click the plus sign here to add some data labels. So click the plus sign, add data labels. There's some different ways that you can add them. If you just click the box, it's going to choose the best option or what it feels is the best option. Usually it's best fit. Okay, so I have one problem. These labels are showing up as frequency counts. They should be percentages. A pie chart represents the percent that each category represents of this whole pie. So we don't want frequency counts, we want the percentage values. Now, it's an easy fix. Let's click on the chart, double click, so that we get this format panel that pops up over on the side. Okay, now I don't want to format this chart area that I just clicked, I want to format the labels. So all I need to do once this panel is popped up on the side is just click on one of the labels. Okay, when I click one time, it highlights all of the labels from my pie chart. If I double click, it isolates a label and it will only format that one. So just keep that in mind. I want to see these resizers around all of the labels on my chart. So those steps again, we're going to double click on the chart so that our format panel pops up. Okay, to get to where we can format these labels and change them to percentages, we click on the label one time so that all of these labels are highlighted. Next thing, now that we've just clicked on the labels, we see that this is changed to format the labels, not the chart area. It's exactly what we want. Okay, to actually change how the labels are represented, we need to go to these label options. It's the 3 vertical bars on the right side here. Okay, now we're going to click down the drop down next to label options. Okay, and this is where we can control what label is displayed in each wedge. So I don't want the values to be displayed. I'm going to uncheck that and I'll check the box for percentages. Looking good. I have my percentages now. Maybe I want to bold them so they stand out a little bit, whatever you want to do. Okay, you can also change the colors and different things in the chart. I'll let you explore and play around with that on your own. Okay, if I did want to add another decimal value to these percentage labels, I could come down here to this number panel, just make sure that I check percentage, and then I can control the number of decimal places that appear. okay, using the percentage category and the number of decimal places down at the bottom. Okay. So now we can see we have the percentages rounded to 1 decimal place. That's totally up to you how you want to do that. But I usually like to have one little piece of extra information. The next thing we need to do is give this pie chart a title. Okay, this pie chart represents the distribution of the variable borough, but specifically it represents the percent distribution. So I like to call it as it is, percent distribution of borough. Now for this visualization, there's nowhere in this chart that tells me how many houses are being represented here. And that's good information to know. So when you're creating a chart and you can't tell what the sample size is, go ahead and add it in the title. We're going to put n equals 1521 because those are the total number of observations or the total number of houses that are represented in this pie chart distribution. Okay, other than that, we can just clean this up and format it, but this is all you need. You need the percent labels, you need a descriptive title, and you need to have the labels of every category. Okay, if you want to shift that legend around, there's ways that you can customize the chart. Coming up to chart design, we have different chart element options. Okay, you can also get to those from this plus sign. I'll show you how you can get to them over here as well. So if we click this down, we can see we have these 3 options for pie charts. For my legend, right now, it has it positioned at the bottom. Maybe I want it positioned on the left side. Maybe I don't want it that far left and I want to drag it over. Okay, so it's a little bit closer to the pie. Maybe this pie chart is just a little too wide for me altogether. Okay, and I want it to be a little bit more compact without sacrificing the size. Okay, so just all ways that you can customize the chart. We can bold the title by using our font panel, underline the title, add some shading to the background, whatever you'd like to do. Okay, at the end, we just want something that represents the data well and communicates the information. Okay, that's the pie chart for borough. Let's create one now for overall quality. Okay, now again, all we're going to do for these pie charts is highlight the labels and their counts. Okay, labels and their frequencies do not highlight the column headers or the total row, only everything that's on the inside here. Also do not highlight percent. Okay, so labels and frequency counts. Go back to our insert ribbon, go back to our charts panel here, and we'll select the pie chart. Okay, we have a lot more categories in this, and some of them have very small representation. Okay, so remember the first thing we did with this pie chart was we added our data labels. Using this plus sign to the right of the chart, click the box for data labels. Okay, I just click it. Usually the best fit is the best option. Now again, I don't want them to show up as the frequency counts. I want them to show up as the percents because this is the percent distribution representation of the variable. I'll click one time on the labels so that all of them are highlighted. Come over to this Format Label Options. Click on the Label Options drop-down, and we're going to uncheck values and check percent. Okay, for this one, maybe I don't want to add that extra decimal place because we're already running out of space a little bit, but we can also shift this legend over to the side like we've done for borough and give ourselves a little bit more room for our chart. So we'll go ahead and add it. If we want to remove the extra decimal later, we can. Remember the number drop down in the label options here. We'll select percentage, and then here we can control how many decimal places are shown. Maybe bold those labels so they stand out a little bit. And now I do want to move this legend over to the side. I'd like to see 1 through 10 displayed right down the side. So I'm going to click in my chart, go to chart design up here, come to my chart elements, look at my label options, and I'm going to put this one on the left, just like I did for the borough. That's so much better. I can see those categories in order. They make good sense, okay? And we'll just shift this over to the right, a little bit closer to the chart. Okay. One thing I don't love is that these labels here kind of over the chart title. So we can, because these have leader lines, kind of pull and drag them around a little bit so that, oh, that one went too far. Should be able to move them around. We might just need to give this chart a little bit more room. Okay. And then maybe we can pull this over to the side. We might just have to play around with it a little bit. Pull this one down a little bit. Okay, so now we have room to type our nice descriptive chart title. Okay, this is going to be the percent distribution of overall quality. And again, since the sample size is not represented anywhere in the chart, I always like to add that piece of information. All right, now from here, it's just cleaning up the chart. Give it a nice bolded title. We can even bold the labels to help them stand out. Give it a little bit of a darker background to help those things pop off the chart. All of these things are optional. For these wedges that have really dark colors, we can double click on each of these percent labels and change them to white. Okay, we can actually do that now for all of them. They should. Here, maybe we need to make that background a little darker. Okay, so that they stand out, but you get the idea. Now we can see different ways that we can customize that information. I'm going to take them back to black. Okay, the next thing, what else? Let's change since this is an ordinal variable and it goes from least to greatest, maybe we can use a gradient coloring that will help show the order and percentage of each of these ordinal categories. So I'm going to click in my chart here, come to my chart design panel up here. I can get to it. And then here's where we can change some of the colors. Okay, so it does have some colorful panels. If you click down through here, you can see different options. But also we can use these gradient tools, which I particularly like for these ordinal variables because it does show an increasing order from lightest to darkest, starting with the lightest here and going around to the darkest right here. So it does help kind of communicate that order through the shading of the colors. Okay, that's up to you how you want to do that. But in any case, that's how we create pie charts. Again, one important thing is you have to make sure that you have these summary tables first, because that's what we actually use to create the pie charts. You can see when I click in the pie chart, the cells that it highlights, because that is where it pulled that data from.